Well, here we are again looking at a long sidewall, just as we had done for the uh, left sidewall. Uh, we put together 9 individual pieces and sanded the edges to get rid of the curves that came out of the manufacturing process and placed them here, test fit them to make sure that the corrugations all line up, make sure that the ends are square. And for the moment, this is all being held together with masking tape, and we're soon going to take them apart, and we'll show you that in a minute. But as we did before, along the edges, we've removed all the ridges that were in the way on these rows here, and we've marked out where the columns will be, just as we did for the right side wall. Now, just as we did for the left side wall, this is the top. The top row will be painted red, so we have to separate this row from the other 2 rows, as we're going to have to put it aside to be painted. And this is only after we put the splice bars on these joints here, so this will be one piece that will pull apart and treat separately. The bottom 2 rows also are going to be treated a little differently than what was done with the right side wall, and this is mostly because the wall on the left side actually has a bump out for the pallet storage area, so there will be 2 sections for the left side wall, and it won't be exactly as it's shown on the prototype here, because if I were to try and do this on my layout, it wouldn't fit, and we'll take you down to the basement and show you exactly what that means. Here we are down in the layout room, and just to give you an idea of what the prototype calls for and how it wouldn't fit in our situation, let's take a quick look at the plans again. You'll see in the plans, let's get that in focus. Here we are. The pallet storage area is an extension of the front face of the building, and it runs halfway down the length of the building. And you can see from the section view, looking at the inside, looking out the back door, it's about half height. So that extra width works out to about 3 inches in HO. So taking a look at the layout now, that extra 3 inches works out to about that much. If I was to use this as an example, you see how it would take the edge of the building right out to this turnout switch stand, and if we wanted to have a couple of loading docks there using these trailers and stand-ins, it obviously would not fit, and not only wouldn't it fit, but we'd need all this maneuvering area for the tractor trailer drivers to move in and out. So clearly we can't do exactly what the prototype has done. We have to come up with a different idea. So my workaround this situation, take this out of the way, is to push the front face of the pallet storage building further back, so that instead of starting at the face, it starts back here, which gives ample room for a tractor trailer loading dock like that. And it also gives enough room for another tractor trailer that might be coming around the side of the building to pass by without hitting the switch stand. So we can also have drivers all going in the same direction. So it's all unidirectional flow. If we had not allowed for this, drivers wanting to back into this stall here would have to somehow do a reverse or a full loop here in this area and then back in to that loading dock. This way, all tractor trailers arrive and make a circuit around the building and come around from the backside, just as they will for those that are coming through the building and out this door area. They'll come in from the back around the outside of the building if they're needing to load at the pallet building, and they'll come out through here, and it'll be easy for them just to back in. They can wait their turn if one is still loading. I will still have to fill out this area here with additional pavement, but at least when they leave, they'll be joining the same flow of trucks that are exiting from inside the building here, and we won't have any conflicting moves in this area in front of the building. All right, let's have a little refresher here on our prototype. The entrance to the street is down on the right-hand side here. All trucks come in, circle around the back of the facility, drive through inside to get their loads, and exit in this direction. The two loading docks that we talked about in the pallet storage building, all the trucks coming in have to make a 3-point turn here to back up here. So the prototype does it. Doesn't mean I can't do it. But because I have tracks very close here, I think it makes a whole lot more sense for trucks to come around the back, all of them, and those that have to pick up something with at this loading dock area here would cross the tracks here, drive around the side of the building, and then back in to the loading docks here, and then leave in the same direction as the trucks coming out here. A much better flow of traffic. Another interesting thing to point out here is that the prototype deviated from the plans. They've got an extra garage door here on the side, whereas the plans called for a door on the back side here with a ramp down. This whole area in here has an elevated floor structure, an elevated concrete floor. So this, what you see here darker, is it's actually an elevated ramp, so that it matches the floor at this garage door. So we have the opportunity to modify the plans just as the prototype did, and we're going to have our access for loading about here with a single door and a window. And trucks will come around the side and load and then leave. One of the things I noticed in going back and doing a little bit more research before tackling the pallet building was that the area CN defined as blue around the building, it nicely matched the roof of the pallet building here. And it struck me as odd because it didn't look like a very deep section here. It looked like, let's say, a 1/3, 2/3 split in terms of the overall height in the building. And I went back and looked at our plans, and sure enough, our plans had indicated a roughly 50-50 split, 20 feet, 21 feet, which would have given a much taller section between the top of the pallet building and the roof of the main building. Turns out that since we took the lazy man's route in deciding how to paint our building, the red stripe that we did on the face of our building and the right side long wall, we simply took the top row of the 3 panels of pike stuff styrene sheets and painted that red so that we wouldn't have to mask. It's impossible to mask over all the corrugations anyway. So in taking that easy way out, we pretty much ignored the drawings and did what apparently CN did, because if you were to actually measure this, you would see, we'll take our little tool here in Google and measure from the blue down to the ground, we get 30 feet. So that would make the blue panel 15 feet and 2 additional blue panels in white for 30 feet. And lo and behold, the panels that we have from Pike Stuff are 15 feet wide. So what does all this mean for our model? Well, we've glued together the 3 pieces for the red strip that runs along the roof, so we can put that aside. The other 2 rows here, we can certainly put our splice plates in and glue them together. However, it won't rest as, or won't remain as one piece, because these 2 pieces here need to be pushed out to here for the outside wall of the pallet storage area. So somewhere in here we have to make the break, and the logical place is to make it along one of the column lines. So because the pallet loading area structure is supported by I-beams as well, and they line up with the main columns, as we see here. These are the minor columns and the main column, so they are lined up to have the same bay spacing. So somewhere here we're going to cut this, and this becomes a separate piece to reflect this wall here. Well, as I mentioned before, I had used these dimensions in determining the size of the columns and beams for the pallet storage area, and because I was using these dimensions, they aren't quite right for the 1/3, 2/3 actual shape of both the prototype and our model. So this roof here is going to be higher, and these won't quite make the ground. Fortunately though, it doesn't have to go too far because it is a raised floor anyway, but even so it's not quite enough. What I have done is taken a stab at what this wall will look like with a door, 1 loading door, garage door, and 1 office window. So that'll be that shape. It will be something like this with a raised floor. I went back to my goodie bag of leftover parts from so many Pike Stuff kits, and what they give you in each of them is a set of concrete footings, if you will, with little ridges on them, and you can make, as I have here, the framing for concrete flooring. The ridging allows you to come along later and insert a piece of 040 styrene for the actual floor, and this then sits on top. You also get in those kits from Pike Stuff, as we mentioned before, doors and windows. So I cut out this window so that this will fit just snugly like that. For the garage door, I went to another box of leftovers, and this was the Magic Pan Bakeries kit, and it comes with loads and loads of multiple size garage doors that you never use all of them. So I took one of them, trimmed all around, so there's a lip, and cut out this to fit. It will slide in just like that. Here you see the back side. I've already glued on the 1 column and roof beam, and there's our splice bars that match up all the individual pieces of the wall sections. All right, the cut has been made. This section here will be the far left wall of the pallet storage area. This piece here, which I've already put the splice bars on, will be the first part of the left wall, but the part that's connected directly to the front face of the building. Now, the outside wall of the pallet storage area is obviously a lot shorter than the rest of the building. See here, this is the outside wall. So we want to cut off a piece of this wall because it's only going to be this high. So we use this piece here to mark off. Sorry about that, the camera ran out of memory. Alright, as I was saying, we use this piece here to mark off the height, and we mark it off a few more places like that. Always make sure we're up against the straight edge, and you always want to have at least 3 marks. And we take our ruler and we strike a mark. And that's where we're going to make our cut. I know it's probably too faint for you to see on the video, but I see the line and I can cut across it with my sharp X-Acto blade. Alright, we've made the cut, and this piece here is scrap, and we're left with the side wall of the pallet storage area. The next thing to do is glue on these splice bars between the bits and pieces of the side panels. First, of course, we remove the masking tape that's holding it together. You might notice that the marks that I had made for where the columns go are a lot narrower, and that's because the actual columns and roof beams for the pallet loading area are quite narrow compared to the columns that are in the main building. So that's where these are going, like that, and that all the way along. All right, all of our cutting and measuring and gluing is done. We have the top panel strip, which will be painted red. We've got the 2-panel high section that will be painted white, which connects to the front and area of the pallet storage building. The pallet storage building will be lifted up on a concrete riser because of the raised concrete floor inside. Will be painted a concrete color, of course. That will be white. We have the main wall of the pallet storage area, also in white, and we've cut in a man door, which we will paint, along with window and garage door. Alright, we've got all our remaining pieces painted and ready to be assembled, and we'll see that in the next video. We'll use these splice plates to connect these 2 major pieces together, and we will connect our columns and roof beams for the pallet storage area to the back of this piece here, and we will assemble the front piece. You see here I've added the window, garage door, and in addition a garage door hood. Again, an extra piece that kindly provided by the bakery kit. Lots of extra leftover pieces in that kit. And finally, we'll get around to talking more about how we manufacture an appropriate raised concrete floor that runs the length of the pallet storage area. Eventually, we'll get around to some details, putting in some steps, and hopefully tying the entire left wall and pallet storage area to the balance of the infrastructure that's currently waiting for it downstairs on the layout.